Greetings, I am Ra. Today the question of the session. There were two civilizations of Atlantis and Lemuria. First, let's look at the entities of Mu. Being entities of a very primitive nature, they had very advanced spiritual distortions. Their civilization was part of the current Great Cycle and originated at the beginning of the first cycle, approximately 53,000 of your years ago. It was a flourishing and safe place until it drowned in the ocean as a result of the rearrangement of the tectonic plates of your planetary sphere, and not because of their actions. Those who survived settled in different places, in what you call Russia, North America and South America. The Indians, for whom the distortions of your social complex have some sympathy, are the descendants of these entities. Like others who incarnated in this cycle, they came from somewhere else. However, these specific entities were mainly from a second-density planet, which experienced difficulties in the transition to living conditions and of third density due to the age of its sun. This planet was from the Danube galaxy. The Atlantean race was a chaotic melting pot of society that began to form about 30,000 years ago in the past of your illusory space-time continuum. It developed very slowly and was mostly agrarian until about 15,000 of your years ago. The Atlanteans quickly reached a high technological understanding through the use of intelligent infinity, from where they obtained information. We can add that they also used intelligent energy by manipulating natural inflows of the indigo ray or pineal gland from divine or infinite energy. Therefore, they could create life forms. Instead of healing and perfecting their aggregates mind, body, spirit, they begin to create life forms, turning their distortions into negative. About 11,000 of your years ago, the first, as you name them, wars have forced almost half of the population to leave density through the decay of the body. The second and most devastating conflict occurred about 10,000 years ago in your illusion. It caused changes in the earth, and most of Atlantis sank. 3 positively oriented groups of Atlanteans left this geographic location before the sinking and went into the mountainous regions of what you call Tibet, Peru and Turkey. I am Ra.
Greetings, Isis. Today we will talk about the Aryan race, the fifth root race of the Earth. After the end of the Atlantean world, the planet Earth was a water desert. The teachers of the races began to create a new race, Aryan. There were 7 groups in total. Each was led by one teacher of the races. He was helped by 2 assistants. He took the name Ra and headed the Leo group. I helped him, Isis and Nephthys. There were too many rescued Atlanteans for the capital of Shambhala to be able to accommodate. Therefore, each teacher of the Ras built a separate city for his group. For this purpose, huge caves in the crust of the earth were suitable, inside which you can fit a city of many thousands. If necessary, the caves expanded through the connection of several caves. Gold pollen was sprayed over the houses using reptilian technologies, which collected under the vaults of the caves in golden clouds. The clouds illuminated and warmed the inhabitants of the cities. He purposefully chose a place for his city inside the African on the continent. He knew these places well, because at one time he climbed them in search of gold deposits for the needs of Shambhala. The cities of Shambhala were connected by tunnels. From one city to another one can only get on the Vimana. When the waters the flood subsided, the earth began to come to life. Everyone began to go out into the outer world of the earth to equip their new life. The Leo group left in the region of Egypt and dispersed in different directions. After a while, Thoth came to the surface and began to build pyramids and sphinxes on the Gizeh Plateau, right above his underground city. Isis and Nephthys were building with him. They did not need other helpers. He used in the construction the power of the rod, which I inherited from Zeus after his death. Nephthys and I had our own magical tools. He erected a complex of pyramids, a small copy of the one that flooded the waters of the Atlantic Ocean in the Bermuda Triangle. The place was chosen beautiful, on the banks of the river. On the roof of your underground multi-story building, Thoth erected a sculpture of the Sphinx, between the paws of which he made an entrance. At the time of construction, the Sphinx rose significantly above the ground. Much later, the base of the Sphinx will be covered with sand and people will think that the Sphinx stood on the earth. Initially, there were two Sphinxes, but one survived. If someone wants to know what that atlas looked like, look at the face of the Sphinx. The composition of the air that changed after the change of poles was unsuitable for the breathing of Atlantis, therefore that and other Atlanta masters wore special masks for breathing. Later, Egyptian pharaohs began to wear masks, considering it an obligatory attribute of power. He built a complex of pyramids near the city, which was founded by part of the people of his group. They considered Thoth in the underground city, not only as their teacher, but also as the ruler. Coming to the surface, Thoth retained this status. Living next to people, Thoth established such a structure of society, laws, statutes, the basics that would help them to live correctly on Earth. And in order for all this to enter into their life, generations had to pass that would live according to these very laws. That is, the child must absorb these laws with mother's milk. For this reason, Thoth, for himself set a period of 1,000 years, during which he was the ruler of Egypt under the name of Ra. This period he considered sufficient for the laws and fundamentals to be fixed within his followers and their descendants. Isis,